Hey guys, welcome to the studio. Today we're going to be doing a project inspired by one of my top 3 favorite artists, Wayne Thiebaud. If you don't know about Wayne Thiebaud, search for him on Google. You spell it Thiebaud, but it's pronounced Thiebaud. Anyway, he has awesome paintings, streets of San Francisco that show the inclines. He does portraits, and he also does lots of desserts, foods, and bakery items. And so we will be creating some cake drawings inspired by his style of work. And we'll talk about forms and how to draw things to look three-dimensional. So now I'll show you how to get started.
The supplies you'll need for today's project are pencil, oil pastels, and paper. I'm using black paper. You can really use any color paper you would like with this project as long as you're using the oil pastels, which will cover over the color of the paper. This project is inspired by the artist Wayne Thiebaud, who is known for drawing or painting all different types of desserts and food and bakery cases. If you haven't seen his art, you should look it up. He has some amazing things. And we'll be doing a cake drawing, and we'll be needing to use form. And form is just a three-dimensional shape or object. So instead of like drawing a circle, we'll be drawing a cylinder to show a round cake. And when you draw a form, you typically see more than one side of the form. Like you would see the top and the side, or you might see two sides and the top. And so we will begin by drawing a cylinder to make our cake. And I have actually sketched mine out in advance because it's so hard to see pencil lines on camera. It helps for me to have it sketched out. So now I can show you with a white colored pencil what I've drawn. And I started out by drawing a flattened oval. It's almost like you take an oval and you squish it down, and that becomes the top of the cake. And I've got some candles that are on mine. Normally it would go like straight through here, but I'm just gonna skip and do those middle places between the candles. And after you get a flattened oval drawn, the key to the next part is pulling straight lines down from the very edges. Some people like to skip in and come down more from here, but you have to go to the very outside edge for it to look like an actual cylinder or cake in this instance. And so now I'm adding the straight lines down from the corners. And then we would simply connect the two lines at the bottom with a slightly curved line. It's almost like we're picking this line up from here, we're copying it and then pasting it right here to make the bottom of that section of the cake. And I'm making like a two-tiered cake. And so that is my top tier of the cake. And then it's like we would do the same thing. We would draw another flattened oval here, and I would go all the way through there if I was drawing with pencil and then just erase. I've already done that, so I'll just start at the sides and then come around. And then at that point, after you get the flattened oval, you come to the very outside edge of it, pull your lines down again. To make the sides of the cake. And then again, it's like you copy and paste that line. So we'll do that. And then this is the part where you start having fun and you start adding designs, details to your cake. You might have it written happy birthday in frosting. You can add things like candles like I did. And you'll see those things as I color them in with the oil pastel. After you add some detail to the cake, we have to consider our background area. And one way to make this even more realistic is to include what's called a horizon line. And a horizon line is just simply a line that divides your paper. And it can divide, like if you're doing a landscape, it would divide the land from the sky. But in this case, it will divide the tabletop or counter from the wall or background. And so we have the cake, and if I was going to do my horizon line right here, we would start and it would go all the way across, but we can't see it because the cake is there. So when we get to the cake, we just stop and pretend that it continues, and then we pick it up on the other side. And that's our horizon line. And so now it appears as though the cake is actually sitting on a surface, a table or a countertop, and then this is our background, and it could be outside and we could have trees, or it could be wallpaper, there could be a window, a clock, whatever you wanted to add in your background. But that horizon line is key to making it look like it's actually sitting on a surface. And so now the next step is to begin using the oil pastels and working with value. And value deals with the lightness or darkness of a color. And so we have tints, or when we add white to our color, here are our main colors in the middle. And so as we add white and they get lighter, that's called a tint. And when we add black and it gets darker, that's a shade. And that's important when you're drawing forms because the light does not hit it evenly. Typically hits one side more than the other. And so like this could be the lighter side of the cake and this would be the darker side of the cake, and that will help it to appear like it's actually round. And so I've decided my main color for my cake is going to be pink, but then I can use red or maybe even a touch of black to add those shades to make it darker on one side, and then I can add white to create a tint and make it lighter on one side. So I'm going to start out by coloring in my main base color in the center. Okay, so we said that we need a lighter side and a darker side. And so as I come over here, we'll make it like the light will be coming from this side. And so we will make this side of the cake the brightest or the lightest. So I'm just gonna add some pure white here at the edge. And then I'm gonna kind of feather it out as I get to the pink. And I'm not pressing down as hard. I'm not getting as much of the oil pastel on there as I did over here at the edge. And now I would take my pink and mix it in with the white. And you can see already how it's gradually going from our middle pink color to a lighter pink. And we can even leave it where at the edge it's just essentially almost white. Okay, so there's the tint, and then over here we want to add the shade, and I've got a really dark red, so I think I probably am not going to use black. I'm gonna use just the darker version of pink and use a reddish color. And I added the most at the right side, and then I'm adding less of the dark color as I come over, kind of feathering it out. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll come in with the pink. And mix my colors. And then as we get closer to that edge, pink will become darker and darker. And then in the places I have the icing or the frosting, if I wanted this to be white, a great color to use for shadows with white is blue and purple, which is typically what Wayne Thiebaud would choose to do. And so I would color in and have my white frosting, and then when I got over to this side, I might come in along this edge, add a few little marks of the purple and blue. And then color over that with the white. But now you can see that side of the cake is becoming like it's more in shadow, and then the light would be shining on this side of the cake. And so now I'll just continue to go with that and to color in the details and the tints and shades on the cake.
Okay, so you gotta share your cakes with me. I wanna see what they look like. Find me on social media, Samantha Wood Art. The links are in the description below. Also, give me a big thumbs up and subscribe so you can get more creative content. Thanks.